to the grand opening of Kalaloka Institute of Fine Arts. Today we are launching a new effort from Ravi Cultural Foundation called Diversity Circle. The idea is to cross-pollinate ideas between not just the artistic disciplines but also between cultures. So today I have Ibiyinka Alao, who's a Nigerian artist, and I have Leah Uribe. She does amazing work at the University of Arkansas, and she's a very big promoter of diversity. So I'm very grateful you are here today. And of course, we have our own Megha Rao, who's been such a guiding star in the Indian community. We're very thrilled that she's also here. And we hope that this session will lead to some other relationship, some other incubation of some sort in the future. So let me invite Ibi.
It's really wonderful to be here. Thank you for all you are doing, Vidya. For this opening, really, for me, it just seems like a continuation of something that already started long ago. The Ravi Cultural Center has been so warm towards me and towards so many artists. I mean, I cannot even count the number of programs that have happened here already. If this is how you do opening, that you've already done all these programs before the opening, I can just imagine what's going to happen. And so it's a blessing to be here with Leah and Megha. Having seen all that you do, I feel very honored and very humbled to be here and to see just wonderful, fantastic faces. Karen Wegerman, if you don't know her, she directs the Experimental House that hosted me. This is the reason I came to NWA to begin with. So I'm very honored, and what a joy. What I would just talk about is diversity, as the subject says. I will use the analogy of water, the river. I grew up near the River Niger. Africa has many rivers, the Zambezi, the River Nile. The River Niger is the second longest. And so the stories around water has always inspired me since childhood. And you have all rivers, of course, they empty into the ocean. And so I want to use that. When I mention river, think of it as diversity, a diverse situation, and the beauty of that diversity. And when I mention a lake, think of it as non-diverse. And a lake is beautiful for many reasons, but it's taken away from the river, and then animals don't live as well in it. For me, it always seems like that when each and every one of us, we have our stories to tell. We are born in a culture, and we grow up in that culture telling our stories. Our lives are a reflection of our growing up. Unfortunately, sometimes a river, as it's flowing back, we are flowing back into where we are coming from, into the ocean, but many times a lake is taken away from it. So the tributary of the river is kind of injured, so that the water doesn't flow back into the ocean. It just becomes a lake. And so I view this situation so much as storytelling. A lot of people who do not know anything about where I'm coming from or the work that I do or my culture have always been willing to tell my stories in their own way, for no fault of theirs, but they don't just understand some of the core values of the culture I'm coming from. So I look at it as taking away the story from the river, or taking away the part of the river to dam it in a lake, and then everything dries with the kind of story that they tell about me. So how I wish that they can connect back to the river that I'm coming from in order to be able to tell this story correctly. So, but it happens time to time. That's why we have flooding sometimes, when the mother nature really tries to bring back all the water bodies back to the ocean. So, I mean, it's a disaster, we know, but oftentimes we do see that reconnection happening. This is when the truth is told. This is when we build friendships, when we build relationships and make our world a lot more diverse. How beautiful it is. I've seen it in New York City. I've seen it right here in NWA. I've seen it in other parts of the world. I've had the opportunity to travel too. I have seen it most especially at this Rave Cultural Center. This past few weeks, just experiencing the influx of different people. So, will you help me get it? I think it's so these guys will help me hold it up just for you to see. So a lot of my pictures are inspired by the colors of West Africa because of the closeness to the sun. But as I travel, I still do that. There's one thing in particular that I use to represent diversity in my pictures, and that's the quilt in the sky. That's because my mother is a tailor, and she's always talking about sewing together instead of separating things. So these guys will help. Thank you so much. In the painting is called Grace, that even the world can pass through it. Because my mom's name is also Grace, and if you notice towards that side where Dietra is, you see the needle that kind of sews the different patches of the sky together. So the idea is really that, you know, a quilt may be made up of different multicolored pieces of fabric. Some of it is new, some of it is old and worn out, but that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, for the quilt at least, it doesn't matter what constitutes each individual part of the quilt. Maybe some of the colors in life we like, maybe some of the colors we do not like, but that at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter that whether we like something or not, whether we like a culture or not, and I mean that seriously, that whether we are comfortable with a culture that we are not familiar with or not, that does it really matter? Because as long as this is something that brightens our lives, that sewing all these cultures together may brighten somebody else's life in the future, and that makes living life in a diverse way worth it. And so that's the story. I always hope that anyone looking at my picture derives happiness or joy from looking at it. So if it does that to you, then I feel I'm a little successful in it. So just that brightness, joy, it means that a lot to me. Also, notice that I emphasize the muscles and the bones. This is also for diversity, to show the likeness of all people. So in a lot of the people that I paint, I try to take away elements of identity like skin color and all by painting them so many different colors. That's what we are. You know, it doesn't matter what is on the outside of us, it matters what is on the inside. And so that's the story there. Can I have a warm hand for this one?
Such a nice event this afternoon, and I'm so honored to have been invited to join and to celebrate with all of you the opening of this beautiful space and the dream coming true and the dream that continues, that it needs to be fed by all of us. I chose, even though I am a musician, I play the bassoon, teach at the University of Arkansas and play with SONE, the Symphony of Northwest Arkansas, and I'm very active with music. I chose another artist, and this is Magdalena Gomez. She is a Latina writer born in New York to a Puerto Rican mother and a Spanish father. And from her book, Shameless Woman, I want to read a short poem. The name of this poem is In Praise of Learning. Boricua mother, Dominican upbringing, Spanish father, Taino beginning, African soul. I am rice and beans, I am plátano, I am mofongo, I am cassave, I am sweet potato pie. I am El Yunque, I am Puerto Plata, I am San Juan, I am Madrid, I am Abidjan. I am negra in the core of my soul, in her skin a sweet ancestral plum. Don't let this face some call hincha fool you, take you into geographical error. I am Boricua. I am a source of terror when I show the depths of who I am. Proud, alive, full of promise. I am the promised land and don't make promises I can't keep. I am Mango. I am Melocoton. I am from New York City. I am from El Rincón. My heart is conga. My bones are clave. My blood is salsa. My way is suave. I kick up salt in Utah. I read books in Ohio. I plant trees in Oregon. I am a gay Jewish dentist in New York. I am a black attorney in New Mexico. A Rubio chef in Louisiana pulling pork. A Canelita schoolgirl in Seattle. I read books in 2 languages. I code switch while performing brain surgery on the descendants of those who see cockroaches when they hear my name. We are everywhere. This is such a beautiful and profound poem that, to her, to Magdalena Gomez, that to me speaks of the multitude of identities that we carry around. In my work with diversity and inclusion, I present myself as a Latina woman. I am originally from Colombia, South America. I've been in the United States for 20 years. But through music, I too have had the opportunity to travel the world and to become acquainted and encounter and actually know close other cultures, other traditions, both geographically, historically, classical music, my own music, which is Latin music, and like this poem says, that spoke to me directly, salsa music. And in my path, I have tried through my playing to bridge those gaps. And that word has become very important to me. How do we bridge, right? Because as much as I want to emphasize my identity, it's not black and white. It's not one only thing. I am Leah, and there's only one Leah in the world, like it's only one of each of us here. And I think that's the beauty of art, how we use art to bridge our identities, our similarities, our differences. And lately I've been thinking a lot about art as that vehicle to really emphasize complexity, because we are complex human beings. We are imperfect, and we tend to perfection, and we're good and we're bad, and we and we have everything in between. I am very excited to become acquainted to this, with this opportunity to be here speaking to you and to be connected with this project. In Fayetteville, where I am based, I am very active with similar projects as well, and I guess we all have, in one way or another, this mission of bridging art, or through art, our cultures. These days are difficult for all, right? We're in the middle of a second round of a pandemic. My orchestra has stopped. I haven't been able to reach out to people the way I usually do through my music. Because of that, I found my own voice in other places to talk about these subjects, to reach awareness of these subjects, and to also share and amplify the voices of those artists that are not out there all the time or haven't had the opportunity to be there all the time. Just to close, the thoughts that come to mind as our role as musicians, artists, audience members, patrons of the arts, we have different ways to deal with our circumstances. We can go to the streets and protest. Some of us do that. Some of us use our voices and our ideas and use the radio or whatever that is to deliver our, what we have in our minds. Some others dance, some others compose music or sing, some others go to concerts, go to events, and find that connection through that internal process that the arts present to us. So I invite everybody to be part of this healing process. We all need the healing, and the healing is not only healing from the pandemic, it's healing of the lack of opportunities for many, the lack of balance. It's healing because of injustices. I like to call it creative justice. And that's, in my mind, that place in which we all have the opportunity to go there with who we are, questioning and disrupting a little bit the status quo and the canon. In my world of classical music, is very defined who is a musician and whose music has been perpetuated, but there's so many other voices. So challenging that and healing those divisions between cultures, between cultural expressions, artistic expressions. I think it is important too for us as we continue thinking about the arts, that these kids here and other kids not here, my own kids, have the opportunity to lead these initiatives, that we provide to them a safe world in which they know that we all have a voice. So leadership, healing, opportunities for all to put the arts in the place where they need to be so we can all take advantage of it and use them and enjoy them. So thank you all for being here and for supporting this initiative, and count me on all of your projects. I'm very honored to be here, and I'll be happy to continue collaborations. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Megha Rao, and I've been dancing. I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer, and I've been dancing for 20 plus years. When I got to US from India, I literally felt like frog in the well. And it was amazing because I figured out I was happy being frog in the well. As and when I started getting exposed to other cultures and other art forms, I realized that, you know, one thing that always resonated in my mind, every time I went to a program, there were people, you know, who would be like, yeah, it was nice, but I couldn't understand. And there were people that were like, oh, we don't want to come because we don't understand. And there were people who would say, oh, Bharatanatyam, yeah, it's so boring. So when I got back, you know, when I got to US, it was not exactly the same, but it was on a similar line that, you know, they were hesitant, they were holding themselves back. And as and when I spoke to artists, organizers, the one thing that I figured out was they were hesitant to try out something new. They were hesitant because they did not know it. They were hesitant because they couldn't understand it. That is when my desire to collaborate, my desire to learn other forms, my desire to make myself educate and understand other art forms so that I can enjoy and then educate others happened, that realization happened. Now, my goal in life was to bridge that gap between the society and the common man and myself and my art form. But when I got here, I realized that it's not just Indian community I need to work with, I need to work with diverse community. And that is when I started taking ballet classes, and I started attending different shows from different artists and started collaborating. Now, thanks to Rave Cultural Foundation, they literally made it happen, you know, for us to collaborate. I am also collaborating with one pop artist, Jasper Lohan, next month. So this desire so that people from other community can see their, you know, familiarity in our art form by me introducing their music in my dance and, their instruments in my dance, their lyrics in my dance will make them more familiarized, with the situation, and they would be like, more willing to go watch, enjoy more. And this is what my intention has been, and thank you, Rave Cultural Foundation, for making that happen. And for all the artists and organizers out here, I'm here, willing to collaborate. So please count me in if you need any of those collaborative work or, want to spread diversity, love, harmony, peace. Count me in anytime, any day. Thank you.
Thank you, Edie. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Megha.